I am 52 and I have been in perimenopause for at least 7 years at this point. And I actually feel like, you know how they say it could be 10 years? Um, I feel like it's more than that already for me because when I look back at my symptoms, when I think about where I was at um, when I was 37, I started to have really bad breast tenderness and longer periods of PMS. So I didn't have, like really terrible periods or anything like that, but I had, instead of a couple of days of feeling a little bit tired and maybe cranky, I had like 2 weeks. And that just got worse and worse over time until eventually I did start to have really nasty periods that were not manageable on my own. And I had to get some help from my doctor, which I did. And oh look, I have Debbie saying that she does track her sleep. That's good. And Caroline only woke up a couple times. Caroline I've known for like, I don't even want to say, probably 30 years. Anyway, so as this whole progress developed and things got weirder and weirder, and I was talking to my doctor. I love my doctor, by the way. My family doctor is excellent. She's a woman. She was looking for perimenopause. She's very supportive of whatever weird stuff I want to do, largely because I've had a chronic inflammation condition, and I've had this for many years, since around that same time, around 37. And I've done all kinds of weird things to help myself with that circumstance, and anti-inflammatory diet, mostly cooking at home, and exercise. That was all part of that. And then the exercise indirectly led me into yoga teacher training, and yoga teacher training led me into yoga therapy training. And yoga therapy is just where I landed, although people have this idea about what yoga is, and we'll talk about that later as we go. But here's what I noticed specifically about sleep. Right around the time where my period started to get really uncomfortable, like cramping any time of the day, maybe not having a flow, maybe 1 month I had spotting the whole month, really unpredictable. I started to have these symptoms in my sleep where I was really tired during the day, and I could fall asleep, but I would wake up, and I kept waking up, and I kept waking up. And I started to get chronic UTIs, and the doctors were kind of looking to see what happened with, like, is there something going on? And there was nothing. They were not able to find any cause for this. It just suddenly started having frequent UTIs, and it's not a coincidence. All of these things work together. So that got me really focused on what could I do to help fix my sleep. And I started looking around at different options. So I'm going to start my PowerPoint here. I should be able to share my screen. I'm so excited. I've learned all these things. PowerPoint. Okay. Sharing. And we're going to share from the beginning and not the ending. That's the end. So when I first started looking into it, I was really just on my own and trying to figure out what exactly is going on and what can I do to help myself. So this masterclass on sleep is not a substitute for talking to your doctor. I don't want anyone to go, oh, I saw these neat things that we can try to do that might help sleep, and I'm just going to skip going to the doctor. Please talk to your doctor, talk to nurses, ask your pharmacist. Make sure before you start diet and exercise changes to talk to your doctor about what you're going to do. Just make sure that you're cleared for exercise. That's really important. You can't do the challenge that I'm doing here without being cleared for exercise. And your diet as well, because you want to make sure that you're not doing anything too extreme I was really surprised to find that my doctor wanted to know I had lost some weight and I'd been trying to lose weight. So she said that was good, but she wanted me to stop dieting. She didn't want me to cut my calories anymore. And she didn't want me to be trying to lose weight because she said women in our age group are really vulnerable for beginning eating disorders. So we went through the whole thing and had the babies and all the stuff and all the career things. And now we're going to start doing an eating disorder. Yeah, because we're trying to control our bodies that are out of control. And so you have to be really careful. And of course, I still watch what I'm eating. I'm not a free eater. I don't, eat whatever I want because it's all pop and junk food. But be careful about that and ask about your supplements. So, for example, there are some of the natural substances like what we might recommend in supplementation. Ask about the vitamin D, ask about vitamin A, ask about your, anything that you're going to increase if you're going to start doing, because I know the hormone nurse recommended upping the vitamin D and the vitamin C and the vitamin B, which I did. And I do feel that that has helped me, but make sure you talk to your doctor because you want to know for sure that you're not going to be causing yourself any problems, particularly with drug interactions. Talk to your pharmacist. And then I am talking to you about this today from my own personal experience. So your experience might differ. Your temperament, your mentality, your, everything you're interested in, it might be completely different. And the things that work for me might actually not work for you, and they might not be good for you, right? What works for me may not work for you, and it could be worth trying. I think that everything that I've designed for this 21 day challenge for sleep, it's harmless. Like it's really, there's no headstands, there's no up on your wrist, there's no athletic. You're not going to be sweating your butt off. It's not really hard. You're just following along in a really, really gentle motion, but it's movement. You're moving the body and you're doing it on your own. And I'm not there with you to guide you, so you have to use your own judgment, but it's worth trying. It is worth trying. It's worth trying anything. Anything that you think might possibly help is worth a shot at this point. And then here's my I just love these little memes. I'm not sure if I should sleep or just cry about being tired. And that comes from that feeling at the end of the day when you've just given it your all and you're exhausted and you've got nothing left to give. And unfortunately, what I'm finding a lot is that people will still expect you to be normal you, and you're not. So this is what we're going to talk about. What exactly is going on with your sleep pattern? There's a couple different things that could be going on, and they might be both happening at the same time. And what kind of treatment options. Now, when I use the word treatment, I'm not talking about prescriptions exactly or only. Prescriptions can be a part of it. I use prescriptions. Could be supplements, could be diet, could be lifestyle, and could be mindset. I consider mindset and yoga a treatment. It's a treatment plan. And so we're going to discuss easy fixes in your lifestyle, supplements you could try, mindfulness and how it helps you fall back to sleep. You'll have to bear with me on that if you've never really experienced mindfulness or worked with it. It's very powerful. Stress busting practices. We really want to reduce our stress. And then how exactly the 21-day challenge will work to help you with your sleep issues and why you should just go for it. Don't think about it, just do it. Okay, so you may have heard this term before, the circadian rhythm, but what does it mean? So really brief history. There was a scientist that went into a cave in France. I'm not sure if the scientist was French, but France has some really great caves. And they're great because he could completely cut himself off from the rest of the world. There's no sunlight, there's no wind, there's no way of knowing day or night, and just tracking his body rhythm. So when he was tired, he would sleep and the rest of that. And then he kept track of everything. And he was the one who kind of charted what was happening with the hormone levels in the body that are working on their own to keep us in this healthy balance of waking times and sleep times, and it all kind of plays together in this beautiful kind of dance. So I've tried thinking of different ways of describing what goes on with the hormones in the body. And, line dancing, when you have everybody line dancing and what step is coming next and who's going to do what, and it's all orchestrated and planned out. What happens in our circadian rhythm starts to get mixed up because of the hormone levels, and particularly our stress hormone, cortisol, goes way up in midlife. They don't know why, but I have a few theories as to why, and we need to address that. And this is how yoga ends up treating perimenopause, because a nice, relaxed nighttime yoga practice will bring down your stress hormone. And then you can, look and see at the picture. It's just kind of giving you an idea of what happens as we go along, as we're going around the clock. So how can sleep hygiene help me? And sleep hygiene is kind of a weird word. The first time I heard it, I was like, what? But it is hygiene, because it's like, I have a shower every day or a bath, and I wash my hair twice a week. Now I was pulling a lot of hair out, so I'm washing my hair less often. And I think that is helping. But it's a hygiene, it's a plan, and it's how I manage my hygiene, right? So when I started thinking of sleep hygiene, I realized that there are certain things about my bedroom and the way I was approaching sleep that weren't optimal for me. So what I did was I set a regular bedtime. I was very rigid about that for a really long time. And now I'm a little bit less rigid. Like, I go based on how I feel more. But sometime between 9 and 10, I want to go to bed. And I put my phone to bed at 8 o'clock. So I have my groovy little cell phone that I love, and I use it all the time for business. But I plug it in its charger, and it's across the room from me. I plug it in around 8 o'clock, and my family knows they're not going to call me if something goes wrong. They're going to call my husband or the home, because I won't look at my phone after 8 o'clock. Because every time you look at the phone, it's sending light into your eyes, and it's saying, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So electronics need to go to bed. And I set like that 9 o'clock because I thought, well, if I'm waking up sometime around 4 o'clock in the morning, if I go to bed at 9, I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7 hours of sleep. Control the things that you can control, like getting some exercise. Go outside, move around, look at the sun, like not directly at the sun, but look at the sky. And make sure that you keep your nap short. And I even would say, don't nap after noon. Like, for me, if I'm napping after 12, I'm going to set myself up for failure as far as sleeping the night goes, because I'll sleep like the dead, and then I won't want to go to bed at bedtime. Avoid caffeine. I'm terrible with the coffee, you guys. I totally admit it. And many, many times it's come up just to quit it. And I have quitted it at different points in my life. But what I've done with it now is that I never have any caffeine after noon. I have a little cutoff. If it's afternoon, no, I'm not having the caffeine. And I try to stick to one really nice, strong cup of coffee in the morning. Don't use your don't use your electronics in bed, like at all, like ever. Don't look at your phone. Don't have your laptop in your bed. And I know it's really hard because we want to be tapped in and we want to watch this show and we want to share that information. Do that on the couch, do that in the kitchen. Don't do it in bed. We make associations with our bed, and we want to keep that as bed is for sleeping and fooling around. That's it. And have your consistent schedule. That's really important. I think the consistent schedule also includes a wake up time. So even if I'm having a really bad night, I try to get out of bed by 8 o'clock. It's that same idea. If I'm up by 8 o'clock, I'm probably going to be able to go to bed that night. Why looking at your phone when you're in bed works against you? Look at the sad kitty. Oh, works against you. You could be waking up from stress. So our stress hormones have increased. You think of it like if you've got the rest of your life, you've been around here with the stress hormone. For some reason, we're all the way up here. Nothing particularly went wrong. We just wake up like that. That could be waking you up. And if you're waking up between 3 and 5 a.m., that's the most likely culprit. Also having more nightmares could be the stress hormone. Cortisol is up too high. Sometimes you have to get up to go pee. And so here's what my doctor said. One time getting up, that's fine. It's not a problem. But if you have to get up more than once and the next night as well, and the next night as well, you want to check in with your doctor, because you could have a low-grade UTI, urinary tract infection. That's not bad enough to require treatment. It's not hurting you during the day. You don't notice it, but your bladder you've got tiny bladder and you need to go more often. And there is treatment available for that, it's wonderful. Medical treatments are a miracle. Does it really look like I got sleep? Sleep, or rather quality rest, affects our whole lives. So think about yourself on your best day. You wake up, you're happy, you've had a great sleep, you're calm, you're relaxed, you're assertive, you get dressed, you go to work, you're hanging out with your friends, and everything's just working, just no problem. You don't even really have to try. You just have to show up, and there you go. Compared to the night where you were up most of the night, not sleeping, you have a big day, lots of things to do, and that is going to affect your mood, which is going to affect your relationships, your appetite, which is going to affect your waistline, which is going to affect your mood as far as how you feel about yourself. Your self-esteem might go down because you're gaining weight. Sex drive, same thing, right? If you're tired, think about when you first had that baby, or when you got that puppy, or when you moved into that new place. If you weren't getting good sleep, you're not getting busy. And the joie de vivre, of course, the love of life. You're not loving your life if you're coping, if you're just dragging your ass through every day. And I love this one too. Of course, Homer Simpson is one of my favorites. So the first one is 11 p.m. He's awake with his eyes open, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. And then, of course, 8 minutes before the alarm goes off, fast asleep. So when you wake up, here's when we can talk about a strategy. Do you check the clock and then start to worry? So that is a big warning sign. If you check your clock and start to worry, you're going to just keep doing that, right? The mind works on like tracks, where you get used to thinking about things in a certain way. And mindfulness, if you practice that during the day, that can help you to identify troubling thoughts and then letting those go. Because a mindfulness practice is identifying, basically, I'm sitting in meditation and I have a thought, and then I identify what it is. It's fear of the future. It's a thought of the past. It's a memory. It's it's a what if. And it's usually going to fall into one of those things, right? Everything kind of boils down to that. It's the past. It's the future. It's a fear. It's not happening right now. So when you get back into what's happening right now, you have that plan of using mindfulness when you wake up. And when you ask yourself, okay, so what am I doing right now? I'm resting. Don't worry about sleep. Don't think about sleep. Don't get into the drama of sleep. It's either happening or it's not. So when you stop trying to make sleep happen, you have some chances of getting back to sleep. So in our efforts to control sleep, we can create this kind of like, oh no, I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. Oh no, I'm not sleeping. Oh no, I'm still not sleeping. Oh no, I'm still not sleeping. And that's going to keep you awake. Yeah. So it's Carolyn's just saying she put on a meditation to listen to. And this is exactly what the sleep training is. It's not as structured as like a meditation, but I'm going to teach you how to do it for yourself. And when you tell yourself something, you really know it. You really believe it. You believe yourself more than anyone else. So we're going to try and break out of that by using mindset and talking to ourselves about what's happening. How we're talking to ourselves about what's happening can make all the difference. So this one was just too funny. Here's a lady on the bus or in the train. Oh, and the pizza on the floor. This is the saddest thing I've seen all day, because pizza is always good, but it's not good on the floor. So joining the 21-day challenge will swap your sleep from not sleeping most nights to getting quality rest most nights. So what I found for myself is I was waking up 3 to 5 nights a week, somewhere between 3 and 5 a.m. I was exhausted. I was dragging myself through every day and really not sure how I was going to live like that for another 10 years. And it flipped it. So by the end of the 21 days, I was sleeping most nights, through the night, a lot of the nights. And if I did wake up, I had these strategies in place that I could utilize and I would fall back asleep. So I'd have like 1 or 2 bad nights a week. And that lasted for months until my mother-in-law passed away. And then I had a full-on stress response and right back to nightmares and waking up. And it's gotten better again. But it's gotten better again since I committed to doing the 21-day challenge, which is interesting because I haven't actually been doing that particular challenge myself. I haven't started before you guys, and then I just say pizza is a good reward for when you're done the challenge. You set this into your calendar and you say, June 1st, I'm doing 21 days to build a habit, 21 days to change your life. This isn't something that I made up. This is actually proven. That's why there's so many 21-day challenges. If you want to start making your bed every day, do it every day for 21 days, and you've got a habit. You set it in your calendar, and then on the 21st day, or I guess the 22nd day, you get to have pizza. Set yourself up for success. So have a good bedtime habit, like sleeping in your bed. You know, the little caption is someone wakes you up and tells you to go to your bed because you've fallen asleep on the couch. You know, you're not where you're supposed to be at bedtime. Have your essentials close by. So this is what I like to have by my bed. If you want to take note and do a screenshot or whatever. Cooling gel. So you guys have heard of this probably as a suntan or a sunburn treatment. Aloe vera cooling gel. I ended up getting some for free in my Superstore package the other day, and I thought, oh, well, whatever, I'll put it by the bed. I'll just try and see if it works, because sometimes I'm not actually having a hot flash because I'm not sweating my butt off. You know, I'm not heart palpitations necessarily. I'm not really uncomfortable. I'm just too hot. I wake up and I'm too hot. But if I use some of the cooling gel just down my arms or down whatever leg is open, like whatever leg is on top, it does cool you down really, really quickly. Glass of water, also same thing. Nice, cool glass of water. A change of top. So sometimes because I'm too hot, like right now I'm too hot, I'm going to take my top off actually. I always dress in layers. Layers are key. So if I'm too hot, I go to bed wearing hardly anything, and then I wake up and I'm cold, so I put on my top. Or I wake up and I've, you know, if I did sweat too much, I can just change my top really quickly. This is something that you want to have close by. Your favorite pillow. If you have a favorite pillow, something that's really comforting, a teddy bear, anything that you find that makes you feel safe and cared for, have that close by. And your journal even. So here's the thing with journaling. You are encouraged and allowed to write down your thoughts. If you had a bad dream, for example, I often do that. I do dream journaling. I do like dream yoga. So I pay attention to my dreams and I make note of them. I've gotten all kinds of information. So one time I woke up with a very clear thought, increase your following distance. And I thought, that's crazy. What the heck? But I did. I increased my following distance and I avoided 2 accidents on the way to school that day. So yeah, it's a powerful, powerful practice, but don't turn on any lights. So same thing, if you get up to go to the bathroom, don't turn on the light. Try to do it in the dark. I actually have like a little night light in my bathroom. And certainly do not look at your phone. Don't look at your phone. Pull the curtains and go to bed at the same time. So we have those blackout curtains, And I would really recommend getting some, because I tried to do a jimmy up, with the sheets, and I tried to do like a dark blanket. The blackout curtain, oh, it's perfect. It really helps. And then the other suggestion here is going to bed early, like set your bedtime at 9 o'clock. And I know you want to read a book, you want to talk to your friend, you want to be on the phone, you want to watch a show, you want to relax, the kids are still up. Go to bed. Just go to bed. And then check with your pharmacist, I'm saying again, before trying these supplements. But here is the list of supplements that I have seen working for myself and other women in the group. And I just like the little kitty, how can they expect me to work when I'm so sleepy? So the magnesium, I have 500 to 600 milligrams at bedtime, and that is recommended by my doctor, who got that information from the sleep study. So taking your magnesium might increase your bowel movements, and you might be prone to diarrhea. So you have to be a little bit careful if you are at any, like, prone to diarrhea or loose stools. You want to make sure that you take it with calcium. My doctor said probably everybody at this point in their lives can afford to be taking a magnesium and calcium supplement anyway, because we want to protect our bone health. And so that's an easy way to do it. Do it at bedtime. It does really help. Magnesium helps to relax the body, and it's also really good for your heart. Your heart is a muscle. It works all the time. Heart's having a hard time during perimenopause, so take some magnesium with calcium. And then CBD. So I know a lot of people, they're thinking, oh, you just want to get high or whatever. CBD is not the same. I remember the first time I tried a CBD oil, I had to drive afterwards, and I was worried about it. Like, am I gonna get in the car and be high? No, you're not high, not at all. But it does kind of turn everything down a little bit. So you're on slows things down, and it makes it a lot easier for your muscles to relax. You can take it only when you need it. The oil works really quickly. The vape works really, really quickly as well. And it doesn't require a prescription. You can get it delivered. As far as I know, there's no drug interactions. The only one that you might want to be careful about is if you have a surgery coming up. You don't want to have any marijuana products in your body for, I think it's 4 to 6 weeks before the surgery, just because sometimes it does cause people to wake up. I would take the magnesium about an hour before I want to go to sleep. So I would take it like when I'm starting, because I'm slow and I take my time. So when I'm doing my puttering to get ready for bed, that's when I take it. So give it about an hour. And then your prescription options, antidepressants. And I know there's a lot of like antidepressant sentiment out there. And I was one of those. My whole adult life. I was like, no. And then I had a surgery coming up. And that's how I found out about the cannabis products before surgery, by the way, not because I had a bad experience, but because I asked my doctor. So I decided to try an antidepressant for the first time at 50. And the first time I'd been told to take an antidepressant, I was 24. So that's a long time holding out. And I got through the surgery and everything was fine. And then I sat down and I did a little inventory. It's another thing you learn in yoga, just paying attention to how you're doing and asking yourself questions. So the question was, am I doing better on the antidepressant? And the answer was yes. Yes, I had less driving anxiety. I had less nightmares. I was coping a lot better with the stress that was coming at me. And I had some unwanted side effects. So I went back to my doctor and I said, it's working and I want to stay on it. Probably just through perimenopause. I anticipate I will end up off of it again at the other side. But we messed around a little bit, tried a few different things. And what I'm on now has helped. It's amazing. It's just enough to help with those troubling symptoms. And it also helps me with my sleep. Progesterone is also another option to help with sleep. You can ask for a prescription for progesterone. They will give progesterone to you without estrogen, or at least my doctors will. And then it has a very relaxing quality, right? You think about the estrogen is to get you pregnant, and the progesterone is to keep the pregnancy in the body. So it's calming, it's soothing, it's relaxing. It does help with sleep. And then the other option is sleeping pills. And a lot of doctors won't give them out anymore, but sometimes they will if you're really in trouble. Like if you've gotten out of the habit of sleeping, sometimes having some help with sleeping pills is exactly what you need, because you need it for only a few days, and then you get the body doing what it's supposed to do again, and then it is more likely to just keep doing that. But of course, you go talk to your doctor about it. And honestly, anybody who's struggling with anxiety and sleep issues, if you've never tried an antidepressant, give it a shot. It's worth a go. I couldn't believe how much better it was. And I actually felt kind of dumb for not giving it a try earlier. I know you're not supposed to be critical of yourself, but I sort of felt like, I wish I had tried. Okay, so this is about the 21-day Fix Your Sleep Challenge. This is what you get. You get 21 half-hour easy videos to follow that will, it reprograms yourself to get deep rest. You get access to a small group. So I have started this Perimenopause Sisters. Right now, there's only a few people. It was like 4 people in it, I think, right now. And I want to keep it nice and small. But everybody in the group is going to be going through this 21-day challenge. So you'll have the access to that support, that accountability. You can have a buddy that you're going through the challenge with. You can ask questions. You can complain about, the quality of the video. Is all recorded on my computer. The video itself isn't beautiful, but the sound is good. And that's more important with yoga, because you're mostly listening, especially because I'm teaching you how to do it. Like, this is my issue with, it's why I didn't just stick with being a yoga teacher. Yoga teacher is, okay, we're going to take our right arm and we're going to lift our arm up over our head. And then everybody does it. But when we do that, you don't really think about your right arm. You don't really think about what your body's doing. You don't really think about what's happening at all. You just follow through, you go through all the motions. And then at the end of the class, you say, yeah, that was great. I feel good. What did you do? Oh, I don't know. Whereas I'm going to actually teach you repertoire of how to use this yoga in your life. And you'll be making choices about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do based on how you feel that day. And you have a plan. You will have a plan of what to do if you wake up. And that makes a huge difference, because rather than just going, oh no, I'm awake again, what the hell, blah, 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 into the drama of all the things that didn't happen or that are supposed to happen or that you're worried about might not happen, you have a plan. I'm going to give you what to do. And then if you do it, you'll get results. So the lasting effects of the practice. Wouldn't it be amazing to wake up feeling well rested? Ready for your day, capable, not confused, less brain fog. Like the brain fog, holy, I really noticed a huge difference with the amount of brain fog getting some quality rest, because it was bad. It was bad news bears. Like I was trying to get through the psychology class for Athabasca online learning. And I was starting to think, like, for the first time ever, I'm going to have to drop out of this class. And that was last year at this time. And that's when I started to get really serious about what am I going to do to fix my sleep, and design this program that I gave in January. So what you get is a link that you follow. And every time you're going to come to the same page, it's going to take you to the 21-day Fix Your Sleep Challenge. And then you pick the video for that day. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I can see people have watched these videos, but I can tell that they haven't done them in order, because some of them haven't been looked at all. And some of them have been looked at a few times, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Well, I mean, who knows, right? Maybe for you, it will work. But the way it was designed was as a musician. I designed this the same way I would teach you to play an instrument. We start with a fundamental, and then we add something new. And then we review and we add something new. And then we review and we add something new. We're doing a stacking, and we're slowly but surely dialing it into a practice that's yours. So that by the time we get to the end of the 21 days, in the last video, there's very little instruction involved, because I'm just outlining the options and going through them and coaching you through it still, but not in a way. Do you guys know that that saying, you can teach a man to fish, right? You can give him his fish and then he'll have fish to eat. You can teach him to fish and then he'll always have fish to eat. Which would you rather have? Would you rather learn how to do it so that you know how to do it and you'll be able to do it for the rest of your life, or just follow along and, enjoy? And there's nothing wrong with following along and enjoying. That's not what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a reason there's leaders. But for me, when I looked at what I wanted to do with my life and how I wanted to impact the world, it was teaching women how to help themselves, not creating a dependency on me to be there to tell you what to do, but helping you learn to tune into yourself so that you can listen to what you need to do, and then you'll just naturally start doing it. And not only in this, you guys, you'll start naturally doing it in all areas of your life, where you'll be like, all of a sudden, oh, I really want an orange. And then you'll ask yourself, oh, that's weird. I haven't had an orange in years. What's going on? No, I really want an orange. And then you'll get that orange and you will enjoy that so much, because you're really listening to yourself in a way that we are not. Actually, I'd say we are trained specifically to not listen to ourselves, which is part of what creates so much drama and pain around the symptoms. And also to not share, right? Don't share when you're hurting. Don't share when you're vulnerable. If you're in this challenge, you'll have a small group where you can share that kind of stuff. I wasn't looking forward to doing the video today, but I did it anyway. And now I feel amazing and I'm ready for sleep. And holy cow, I actually slept. You can do this practice in your pajamas. You'll see, I think it's on day 5. I'm actually in my pajamas doing the practice. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to drive anywhere. You could do it more than once if you wanted to. They're all half an hour. Of course, some of them end up being 32 minutes, depending on, how much I'm talking, because I do like to talk. But I have dulcet tones. So this is one of the things that you'll get out of the small group access. So anyone who pays for the 21-day challenge for the month of June gets automatically put into the small group. And then it's up to you if you want to continue. If you want to continue after that, you'd continue at $22 a month just to be in the group. And then you will get this safe place, right? We talk about that a lot in society. We want to create a safe space. We want this to be a safe space. And then people are kind of crappy to you anyway, right? It's ridiculous. In a small group setting, what we're going to be doing is working out our own code of conduct. So everybody in there is invested. Everybody's paid to be there. Everybody is invested in making it a good experience for themselves and everyone else. So you can talk about, like, even just the challenge of setting aside the time. Everybody's going to have a challenge setting aside a half an hour. You will be amazed at how difficult it is to set aside a half an hour. But this half an hour is going to give you huge payback. And you can celebrate. Where else can we celebrate? If you try to celebrate too much, like on a platform like Facebook, someone will shoot you down. You're bragging. But we should celebrate our wins. Realizations that you come to from working through the practice daily, like even myself instructing it, I got so much out of doing it because I was participating in the whole experience myself. You'll watch me. It's more like a reality TV show, because I go through all of these challenges. Originally, it was going to be a live class. And then I had so many problems with technology and internet issues that it ended up being a recorded class. And that's to everyone's benefit, because now it's here for us to use again and again. Once you pay for the link, you have that link forever. So you can go in there and do those videos whenever you want. And once you've done the full 21 days, you can just go back and do one or two. Supportive community who's also struggling to make time for themselves and get that good night's rest. So what is that? Why would that be important? And there's a lot of talk about this right now. And today I'm doing a challenge on insight timers. Another thing I would recommend doing. Insight Timers, a free app. I'm doing a mindset challenge, positive mindset. And today they were talking about community and how much being involved with the other people in a meaningful way creates health and well-being in the individual. So you get the chance to ask questions that might be too personal. Like, honestly, sometimes the questions in the big group, I'll be surprised that someone wants to talk about that with 3,600 women they don't know. But it might be a little bit like easier to share if there's 6 to 12 of us. I want to cap it up at 12. I don't want more than 12 people in the group. And direct guidance from those who are also in the challenge, specifically me, right? I designed the challenge. So if you're concerned or confused about something, you can actually say, hey, why did you make us use blocks for that? Or, hey, I don't have a bolster. Can I use pillows? Or, hey, the pillows I picked were too soft, or whatever, right? And I can guide you through how to use those tools, because we do use props, but you don't have to have expensive yoga stuff, you guys. Like, I'm going to show you how to use the stuff you have in your house. And the community is backing you, so you're more likely to complete. If you have people, if Caroline's in there and Angela's in there, and they've buddied up together and they've been in touch about what's going on, even if they miss a day, they're more likely to do it the next day, because they have someone who's going to be interested in how they're doing and what they've done. And if they did it, did they follow through? And then the sense of accomplishment that you get when you're done the 21 days, especially when it starts to work. Might not work right away, to be perfectly honest. The first week, you might be thinking, what am I doing? But somewhere in the middle, your subconscious mind will kick in, and it will start to remember what we did during the class. And you will say to yourself, this slippery little sankalpa, don't worry about what that means. I explain everything in the challenge. And you'll fall back asleep. And you'll be amazed. Okay. So we're just about done here. What difference does getting quality rest most nights make in your life? More energy, better sex drive, being able to focus with less brain fog, less crankies, better relationships. You get to make new friends in a small support group that are going through the challenge with you. And isn't that priceless? Like, what would you pay if someone said, just pay me this money and I'll give all those things to you? Right? I mean, everything you've got, probably. Give me a good relationship, please, God. So the investment here is $200, which includes your small group support in June. And then the option to continue at $22 a month. I'm going to reduce it for the next 24 hours. I'm going to give you until 6:45 on Tuesday. And you can pay that through e-transfer. That's how most people in Canada are choosing to pay for their stuff now. It gives you lifetime access to the 21-day challenge. So even if you were like, you know what, I can't do it in June, but I want to do it in July, you could pay the $180, get the link, not use it in June, but use it in July and do it again. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. And then there's my email, ovationstudio.ca@gmail.com, and the website, Ovation Studio. So if you go to Ovation Studio, you'll see that it's my teaching website. So it's going to look like music lessons. And that's because I teach music lessons. So it is music lessons. But you can scroll down to the bottom and register as a student, and then just put in your subject where it's like your instrument 21-day challenge, and I'll know what it's for. I decided not to go and pay for another booking software for the stuff that I'm doing coaching people, because it's kind of dumb to have more than one thing, in my opinion. And the one I'm using, the booking software I'm using, does everything. It does text reminders, it does invoicing, it does receipts, It does payments. If you want to pay through your bank, you can pay through your credit card. It does all of that. So why add more into the mix? And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a musician anyway. So yeah, it's all linked to the music website. You will get out of this challenge what you put in. So it's interesting because, you know, people were asking me about this, and it's like, well, what kind of guarantee do you give? So I don't guarantee you anything, but I will tell you this. If you surrender to the process, put it in your calendar that you're going to do this challenge every day, make yourself actually go through and do the video every day and put your effort into all of those things we talked about with sleep hygiene, trying some of the supplements, you're going to get better rest. You are going to rest well, at least some of the time, which is probably better than what's happening now where you have no idea, right? Some of the unpredictable side of it will be gone because you'll know these are the things that work for me. If I do these things, I'll probably have a good night's rest. And as I said, it flipped the switch for me. So I was having, 5 nights a week, I sleep well. It requires the commitment to show up every day for 3 weeks. But that's called tapas in yoga. And tapas is something that hot yoga takes advantage of. It's this idea that when we have illusions, we want to burn the illusions away. And we do that by creating fire. So things that are difficult and challenging create that fire, and they burn away the illusions that you're carrying that have, they got to go. They're holding you back. You don't need them. And if it was easy, then that wouldn't have that tapas in it. Like if I said, okay, we're going to do 21 classes, but we're going to do 1 a week. No, I mean, you probably feel good the day you do the class. The day you do the class will be good, but it's not going to, you have to get it into the subconscious mind about quality rest so that if you do wake up, you can implement that strategy without thinking about it too hard. So that is that. I'm going to stop sharing now. There we go. Okay, so I really enjoyed presenting this class to you, and I hope that you learned something. And, obviously none of this stuff is rocket science. If you really wanted to look up this information and, plow through the group and look through tons of different Pinterests and all kinds of medical journals and everything, you'd find the same information. I've just made it really easy for you by putting it all together in one spot so you can find it without really struggling. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for coming. And I hope that everybody has a good sleep tonight. And I hope that you'll join me. You know what? I think that this challenge, well, here's the thing. I wouldn't be offering it again if I didn't think it was good. If I didn't think it was valuable and I didn't think it was going to help, I would have just put it aside and been like, okay, that's the end of that. I did it. It was good for me. That's good enough. But I'm doing this meditation every morning. And one of the questions is, what is my purpose? And so I've been asking myself that every morning. And what keeps coming up again and again is quality relationships and bringing people together. And that's why I think this group is so important to me. And ultimately why I started it. And I think my camera has frozen. So that's the universe telling me, game over, all done. I am going to end the meeting now, and hopefully it'll be up for replay.